the right climate of clear, consistently well-articulated goals and ambitions, technology, and the culture of freedom of action to pursue those goals, you can achieve great things, I think.
Looking at the next couple of years, are there any particular technologies that you see as pivotal to helping your colleagues produce even better work?
Yeah, so I think it would be impossible to answer that question in the present day without talking about Gen AI. Okay. And I think Gen AI is a really interesting subject at the moment. As a media organization, we've obviously got a kind of a bit of a, I say, cautiously optimistic view about it. We're sort of cautious because of the obvious copyright implications that surrounds some of the genesis of some of these technologies, but equally we see opportunities for it to help us make the business more productive and more efficient. As a producer of original content, we're not the kind of organization that would be using Gen AI to create content. But I think even with that important stipulation in place, we still see lots of opportunity for it to drive productivity and efficiency and liberate people to do the core content creation job more fully and more comprehensively, which I think is great, right? And if it delivers on the potential that it appears to have at this relatively early stage, then I think that would be great.
Yeah.
Beyond that, I don't think there are any other complete revolutions on the horizon like Gen AI has the potential to be. Data technologies continue to get better, more powerful, be more significant within our organization. Heavy investments in data and machine learning already. I expect to see more of that as we seek to become ever more sophisticated. I think we are at the point where we are, as a primarily subscription business now, we know an awful lot about the people reading our products.
Yes.
And we're able to provide an ever more tailored and personalized service. A lot of that will require, of course, the consent and willingness of individual readers to engage with that. But if they choose to, then machine learning, I think, is still the way to unlock a lot of that. And we have had some reasonably decent progress in that space over the last few years. I would expect to see more of it. So, for example, the paywall that runs on Telegraph content now is actually driven by machine learning models rather than just being a binary hard paywall. That's made a huge difference, actually. It has meant that we're able to achieve the same sort of daily subscription conversion rate, but allowing a lot more people to see content without paywalls, which is great for audience development, right? And great for introducing people to the brand. That's the kind of thing that wouldn't have been possible a couple of years ago. Yeah, and I think taking that to the next level of personalization is an interesting opportunity for us.
Yeah, brilliant. So having the right technology and a degree of autonomy in their colleagues' daily lives can help make them more productive and produce.
Well, I think that's true. The one thing I would add that you need, though, if you're going to have this is my personal view, you're going to have an operation where you have a greater degree of autonomy, is you also need to have that clear sense of strategic direction. Everyone's got to know and understand the single goal that they're heading towards or goals that they're heading towards. That is to be commonly well understood. So that's a key foundation. Otherwise, you can end up with people just going off in all kinds of different directions. But if you create the right climate of clear, consistently well-articulated goals and ambitions, technology, and the culture of freedom of action to achieve those goals, you can achieve great things, I think.
And I was going to ask you, just that combination you described, how do you then balance that with the need for security?
So we've always taken cybersecurity and information security more broadly very seriously, because obviously as a media organization, you are a company subject to all the risks that any normal company or organization is, but also, have that slightly higher profile, which has always meant that it, one feels a little bit more at risk as a result of that. I don't think it's really possible anymore to compromise on cybersecurity requirements. I think the broader kind of threat landscape has evolved to the point where every company, whatever game you're in, you have to take it extremely seriously. We always have done, but we continue to. So there are very few exceptions now where I would see any need to moderate that security posture.
Yes.
If you'd asked me that question a few years ago, I might have had a different answer. But interestingly, whereas I think a few years ago, the average user of company systems and technology may have considered security constraints to be a pain and, something that was getting in the way. I think the reality now is people are so aware of the broader cyber threat.
Yes.
They actually welcome
The
those
implications.
mechanisms. They really do. And, we run all kinds of internal awareness programs, multiple different types of technology. I can't remember the last time that somebody complained to me about the fact that we have those security technologies running.
Yeah.
I think they appreciate the cover rather than resent the inconvenience.